2 lanes to keep right.
Hey friends, happy Tuesday. It's August 31, 2021. You're watching Prepare to Go There, the most overlooked and underrated coaching conversation on the internet. That's my opinion, but I'm just convinced that our future deserves our focus today. My name is Peter, if we haven't met yet, and it is a joy to go on this extended coaching journey with you. And I want to thank you for coming back. Welcome to the Future Frontier, a big topic today. It's all about daily planning, and I'll explain a little bit more later. But I want to start with the why and some opening comments. The first one is I have learned from experience and observation that most people don't know how to lead others into a better future simply because they don't know how to lead themselves there first. It's not as complicated or convoluted as it seems. You don't need to spend a ton of money to fix problems when really you might be the problem. Can I say it that way? No, we all have blind spots, and we have to continue to lead by example. And I'm convinced that the future is going to need leaders more, not less. And those leaders are going to be going into some really unprecedented times. And so we've got to be doubling down now. And I mean, like years in advance. And we have to be prioritizing this piece. And I think it starts way before you see a leader, show up ready. The preparation process is necessary. And yet, as necessary as it is, it often goes unnoticed. And so a lot of leaders, they kind of get swept into these positions, but they really haven't done the personal heart work or, training, and they can actually be exposed or put in pretty vulnerable places. So anyways, I'm here on a mission to call us to action. If you are a friend or a leader and this resonates with you, I want to invite you. Let's go on a daily journey and let's practice self-leadership. Let's work on our future today. And, there's 2 steps to that. One is you have to focus practically on the future. And so many people are just completely cluttered. And so they're living more reactively than proactively. And so that's a skill set in and of itself. How do you actually stay focused on your future practically? How do you get all of those dreams and values that you had in a moment of inspiration, and how do you get it off the back burner and put it back on the front burner? So that's a big piece of the framework here. And then the second piece is really the day-to-day stuff, the stuff that most leadership conferences, books, mentors skip over. They just kind of give it to you as homework, or they just think it's going to be automatic. And a lot of the, roll up your sleeves, get to work moments are day-to-day, just doing the boring basics, working on the fundamentals. And your lifestyle is going to become an expression and really a engine for your leadership. And so I'm all about investing in yourself so that way you'll have more to give away. And you got to figure out how to lead yourself into that big, brave future. And you got to get some tactics to be disciplined and to stay productive, keep your emotional health, mental health, and, really make the most of your days, because every day matters. So if this resonates with you, join the journey. We call it the Future Friends. That's our email community. You get a weekly roundup from me, And it's the blog and all of the live streams and then all of the fun projects I'm working on with you in mind. Like, for instance, we just did a giveaway because I have crossed the 50th episode, which is kind of cool to say, 50 live streams consecutively, with the exception of 1 week on vacation. And um, and so now we're doing a leadership mastermind this weekend. It's going to be a ton of fun. Really looking forward to that. The ensemble of friends and leaders in that mastermind is phenomenal. So I'm geeking out because I'm going to be sharing the same conversation with some people that I really enjoy and respect. And so, anyways, that's just one example, but I am working on a coaching course with y'all in mind, and I have a few other projects that I'm steadily going on, one future Friday at a time. So, there is a free gift waiting on you at the end. It is a fail-proof planning guide, but I want to dive into the topic at hand, and it's all about daily planning. And that's kind of the conversation for this whole week is you don't have enough time or energy to process all of the experiences and all of the inputs and all of the implications that are tied into your future trajectory. So if you literally try to analyze everything and try to figure everything out before you take the first step, you will literally have no time left to live. So I want to help you figure out your future on the way there. And you do that day by day with an intentional approach, right? And so daily planning is the big thing I want to get across to all the friends and leaders out there, all the future friends. It really is a mission critical part of your own lifestyle and therefore your ability to lead yourself and lead others. So let me get nice. Okay. Let me get a quote out to prime the pump here. Benjamin Franklin said, by failing to prepare, you're actually preparing to fail. Now, we can often miss things that we don't consider ourselves responsible for, or we can miss opportunities that we didn't feel prepared for. And most time, people are wasting their time just overthinking the same things again and again and again in a disorganized way instead of really committing to think through the complexity involved at a deep and meaningful level, which will then help them arrive to the resolution on the other side. And that is why I am convinced that we need an intentional approach to our daily planning. You may say, I'm not a planner. That's not for me. I just wing it. I just flow. But every pioneer is a planner because they have an end in mind. They have a goal, an objective, a purpose. And, a lazy person doesn't want to put in the work, but a pioneer thinker, a leader, is going to have some intentionality. And so that's all this is. It's just knowing which direction are you facing and make sure that you're heading in that direction. And then also don't get tripped up or don't get eaten alive on your way there. All right. It really is simple. So you don't have to make it harder than it is. So I want to pass on daily planning as a best practice. And I'm going to hit this from a few different angles. The first one is a purely analog approach. And I have done paper-based planning for years and years. I love it. It's great. It is a constant go-to for me. And it is one of the tiers in my system. I now have a hybrid system, which I'm going to get to on Thursday. But today, I really want to help many of you get a grip on your own approach to productivity and daily planning. And it's as simple as grabbing a piece of paper. Like literally, if you could just reach for a blank piece of paper, you would feel loads of pressure lifted because there's so much pressure built up inside of you, and you just need a way to let it out, to organize it, and then to strategize with it. And so I want to help you get your thoughts out there so that way you can actually see where you're going. See, when you're in your head all the time, it's hard to navigate that environment, that everything is kind of overlapped or tangled, or it's almost kind of like you're going on this hike in the dark. But when you can actually get everything that's in your head or your heart and you put it out in front of you, and then you can actually see it and make sense of it, then you can better navigate it. And so for me, paper is a tool. Paper is a method. Paper is a means that can help me to be more intentional, to plan my day. And a part of paper, there's some different tactics we can use with paper. And when I say paper, I just mean the exercise of engaging, a notebook or a tablet. So, I mean, if you're writing, handwriting, doodling on a tablet, that's cool. Go for it. I have a friend in Nigeria, and he has a tablet and he does amazing things with it. My brother is a great leader, and he does, I would say, probably 95% of his thinking, planning, working just with, a stylus and a tablet. So it's really the strategy of externalizing your thoughts and then personalizing the decisions and discoveries that come out of it. And so writing is, for me, the right way to start any day or any project. Like literally, if you feel overwhelmed right now, just go get a piece of paper and just like start drawing exclamation points and just start like scribbling and just like, I mean, you could literally just tear it up with frustration, but I promise you it would help so much more. I mean, or writing one word, or writing like the way you feel, stuck, mad. I just start somewhere. I'm just trying to set the bar so low you can't say no. Like, go get some paper and try this. And so writing is the right way. You see what I did there? The right way. We're going to play on that in a second. Writing is the right way to start any day or any project. Doesn't matter what it is, what you're talking about. Most of the time, you're not in a room full of team members or definitely assistants, right? You don't always have that. And so you got to find your own process to work through all of those inputs and get to some execution. So if you don't have a room full of people to process with, you got to find your own solo process to keep moving forward. And paper becomes that. Writing becomes that. See, writing can become a method, whether you consider yourself an author or not. That's not the point. Writing is a method that helps us practice intentionality. Intentionality is the main superpower here. It's the thing that you're flexing to get your daily planning on. And the point is that you have a sense of empowerment now. You are making those choices. You're not reacting to everything and everyone else. Now you are enacting a set course that you have committed to. And that's amazing. And when you find that, and I talked about this last week, so you need to go check it out because it was all about getting yourself going. We talked about the power of personal momentum. And when you can unleash the power of personal momentum, you can, in theory, become unstoppable because now you know how to get yourself going. You're not waiting on something or someone else to do that for you. The other thing about writing, because I'm talking about just the idea, why would I even want to like write something down on a piece of paper? Like I don't want to commit to that. I don't want other people to see that. It's kind of messy. It doesn't make sense. Um, it's personal. You know what I mean? And I get that. A lot of people don't want to show all of that. But writing will help you make discoveries and make decisions. And that's what we need when it comes to daily planning. So I want to tease this out as our first exercise, our first action plan, so to speak. I want you to start getting used to this concept. What's the right way to do anything? Like anything, if it's your day or if it's a project, what's the right way to do that? And I'm not telling you the right way to do it. That's not my point. The point is that writing can help you figure it out. So the right way to do anything is to start with writing, by asking the question, by brainstorming ideas, by organizing a thesis or a roadmap. So for instance, what's the right way to get going in the morning? Get some paper, start figuring it out. What's the right way to throw a big party in the backyard? Go find some paper. Like, I want you to get into that instinctive mode. Like, as soon as the thought comes, you're already reaching for the paper. That's why a lot of us, we keep something nearby. I got my Pioneer planner right here, and I have it. It stays with me because there has to be some sort of habit that you're building, but it's connected to this idea that the right way to do anything starts with a writing based process, practicing intentionality, and then going through the critical thinking and creative thinking in order to get to an outcome. So, what's the right way to level up your physical training? What's the right way to launch a team thing? What's the right way to create multiple income streams? What's the right way to do whatever, right? Fill in the blank. Find some paper, find a tablet, and get going. The first step towards clarity and creativity is to get your thoughts out there so you can see what's going on. And I want you to learn how to leverage both internal and external processing. Internal and external processing. We are all wired differently. We're unique and needed in our own way. And so it's really good to understand where your strengths are and then to kind of build that into the paper. And you may say, well, I'm not introverted, so I don't need the paper. I can talk it out. I'm an external processor. But the truth is, it doesn't matter whether you're internal or external processing. You'll need paper either way. It just depends on if you're putting the paper in before or after you're processing. So I'll give you an example. Internal processors, they think to talk, like me, right? I've got my thoughts right here. So I've actually thought through what I want to say and I've typed it out, and I'm practicing how to get better at not sounding so scripted and stuff. But I know me, and if I don't have a guide, I'm going to just and have really long intros and have fun doing it, but may not get the followers that will get the value from this conversation. So I want to practice putting things on paper and having a very clear, concise, guided train of thought. External processors talk to think. So see the difference? Internal processors think to talk. They think about it on the inside and then they can present it, then they can share it. External processors, generally speaking, they're talking it out and then they say, oh, now I get it. Now I know what I want to do. And they've gotten very clear on that thought process. But you can use paper as a tool to strategize through the thinking process in real time, or to summarize an insightful conversation that you've already had. Do you see the beauty of paper now? Like if you need to get quiet and think through something before you go out, like start with the paper. And that's super good. And then when you get out there and you're either, shaky and you're kind of like, okay, what do I say? How do I say it? Now you've got the paper and all of those things that you've thought through have prepared you for that moment. But on the flip side, let's say you're just like, you are fuego, you are on fire, you're just like going and ripping, and it sounds amazing, and you're just like, man, I don't want to forget this. What did I say? Man, I gotta capture that somehow. You got to be disciplined and summarize what you just said. So you can use paper to strategize things beforehand or summarize things after the fact, or flip it. And if you're summarizing all the stuff that's been going on in your life, that's AKA journaling. Or if you're strategizing things. And so I just love paper because it is really versatile and you can do both interchangeably. So don't get kind of hamstringed into this, uh, you know, leading with a limp in the sense that, oh, well, I'm only this. I'm only an internal processor. I'm only an external processor. Maybe you're stronger in one than the other, but you could like do both and you can use them as skill sets. You can approach them like tactics, and whatever you need for that moment, boom, you can adapt and go into it. So it's good to use paper. I accelerate my process and speed things up quickly by alternating these two styles, internal, external processing, and paper's there for both. Now you say, well, what about um, your note taking app? Do you use that? I do because I have a hybrid system, but I'm talking to those that are kind of weirded out by all of the apps and things. And you need something to really help you focus because as soon as you get into your phone, you're gone. You're like in the rabbit hole, you know? And like me, boom, I already got a text message. I got text messages waiting on me and I'm doing a live stream. So maybe you really do need paper and it'll help you stay grounded, focused, present in the moment. So I want to give you now a few tactics on the way out because I have just a few minutes left. So here are some tactics that you can use with paper. You're like, I don't know what I would do with it. Literally, you could just get blank pieces of paper. I've done pretty much every size, literally. Index cards, post-it notes, napkins. That's one of my personal go-tos. Literally, you go out to a restaurant, you're hanging out with friends, man, you're having this awesome conversation. Use one napkin, wipe off the mustard, use another napkin, drop an awesome plan, drop an awesome insight, and timestamp it. Go for it. But you could do paper, you could do poster board, you could do whiteboard. I mean, the point is we're getting into this writing thing. So the first one that I want you to try is do some doodling. Yes, doodling. I mean it. Like, as you are working out your process, you may not have the words for it yet. You may just be able to visualize it. And sometimes you kind of have this restlessness or this writer's block that you can't power through. And sometimes you just need to relax. You need to chill. And using some visual learning tactics can actually unlock a lot of understanding, both for yourself or the people that you're communicating with. And there's actually a really cool book, I think, called The Doodle Revolution. But the point is that if you just have some paper, like I'll kind of switch over to my default. I've got this thing and I will doodle all kinds of wilderness landscapes. I love drawing basically the Northwest, the US Northwest. I love that place. I love that environment. And so I'm always kind of doodling mountains and trees and rivers and waterfalls. And I don't draw people. I mean, if I do, they're faces or stick figures. But sometimes just kind of getting started kind of just primes the pump. It you know, gets you thinking, gets you moving, or relaxes you. It's a nice way to get going. Now, if you are stuck, frustrated, you're like, ugh, it's not working, it's not happening, chill out and just kind of doodle. Just kind of doodle in the margin. Sometimes, you may have gotten in trouble when you were in school because they thought you were not focused. But there's actually a lot of good research that says doodling can help you focus more. So take it for what it's worth. There's a lot of benefits that can happen when you're just kind of, free flowing, improvising with the paper. One is externalizing. So you're externalizing your thoughts, which can help you isolate them, make better distinctions, identify insights. Sometimes you can feel overwhelmed. And so it's good to kind of isolate the factors one at a time. There's a lot of good things that can happen out of that. Visualizing, you don't have to be an artist to do this, but visualizing mental pictures on paper, whether it's in writing or with images, can help you take a concept much further in the creative process. Personalizing key themes can motivate you to take action. So, like, you write a word and you circle it, you put stars, maybe you draw an icon or an image that kind of like gives you a sense of what you're doing with this. This is just an example. Maybe the word for you is um, focus. And so you could draw like I'm making this up, but draw a hot air balloon and write the word focus on it and put yourself like going higher and taking, going to new heights with focus. So just an example. All right. Then organizing both the process and the results can keep you from getting bogged down and then even speed up your creative process for next time. So with that just means you're going to start structuring it. At first it's going to just be blank paper and everything's out there and stuff, but eventually you'll begin to see a sense of design, a sense of structure and uniqueness kind of coming through. So lean into that. Now, I get it. You may not need the paper to be creative or productive or attentive. But again, this is just a tool that every one of you can, and I'm encouraging you to use, particularly with daily planning. So if you are eating breakfast and you do not have a plan yet, get a piece of paper while you eat breakfast and start to doodle and start to just go through everything you're feeling or you're thinking. And eventually you're going to begin to make sense of it because you want to get your thoughts out there so you can see the landscape and then you can navigate it as you go. So doodling. The next thing I want to encourage you to do in no particular order is journal. Journal as you go. Focus more on jotting things down here and there than actually committing to a journaling session. I'm not talking about a journaling session, at least not yet. I mean, this is your daily planning. You don't have a lot of time in your day to begin with. So a journal is not about Dear Diary in this setting. The journaling aspect is if you just need a few bullets, a few words, a few actions. It can be kind of checklist-ish, but journaling is really powerful. And it's a practice that will help you process the things that are already coming up. A lot of times we get overwhelmed because this stuff comes to our mind and we don't really have a place to put it. We don't have a way to process it. And so it's just kind of like, it's just kind of on our brain all the time, or it's in our face. And then we really can't focus. So instead, have a way to put it away. And obviously, if you've been around, journaling for a while, you have already experienced probably bullet journaling. But if for whatever reason you haven't, that's just a good example. Bullet journaling is I guess, system that people use to organize their thoughts and their projects. And journaling can be used on paper, which is really good. The last one I'll tell you for now is mind your mapping. And what I mean by that is mind mapping. Now, I do this sort of thing all the time, like all the time. This is probably my favorite when it comes to daily planning on paper. I just start making a mind map. I will write the day and then just start making bubbles of whatever comes to mind. And then I'll X stuff out, or I'll draw arrows, or I'll circle, or I'll, just have fun with it. But this works really well with goal setting and project planning. So, goal setting and project planning, that really is the starting point for my monthly planning sessions, the quarterly stuff. I want to get away. I want to unplug. And I'm going to grab one of these. I'm going to just start trying to get quiet and get all my thoughts out there. And it is somewhat about elimination, but it's also about just getting a sense of where everything is and what's important, and then trying to reorient it in a way that it all fits. So it's kind of like, if you'll remember, I don't remember what episode it was, but I'm gonna plug this up for you guys. I did an episode about staying organized and clearing the clutter, I believe it was. And I said, take everything in your backpack, literally unload everything. Some of the stuff doesn't deserve to get back in because it's trash or it's outdated. And so you can deal with that. And then with the stuff that does go back, you can then kind of renegotiate where it fits in your backpack. And paper can do that with your thoughts and your goals and your projects. You literally just get everything out, and then you can negotiate. Okay, that doesn't matter anymore. That's not relevant. This stuff still is important, but maybe I'm going to reorganize it a little bit differently moving forward. So mind mapping is super good. And again, these are tactics. So whatever you need, you use it. It's not like there's some, ratio, like you need one mind map to every 4 journal entries. Like, just do whatever is helpful. Sometimes your brain is in pain because you're overwhelmed, or you're frustrated, or you're foggy, and you don't know how to move forward. And that's when and how you say, okay, I'm literally turning all this stuff off. And that's a friend, so that's all good. But you're turning everything off, and you're saying, I'm going to make sense of where I am and where I need to be. Now, at the end of the day, I really mean this. Forget the paper and just remember the process. Sometimes I would get so kind of stuck on just where to put the thought. I would have multiple journals for multiple categories. I was trying to do it that way. Or I was, having a bunch of loose papers and then trying to keep them together. And then I was trying to organize and categorize, and don't do that. Just get the thoughts out there. Just get the plan going. I do lean sentimental. So I was always kind of thinking about, man, but that was the first paper and the first napkin when this epic idea, or I got this amazing insight from the Lord, and I don't want to let go of that, and that, whatever. And you don't have to get like worked up about it. Just, if you want a shoebox where you put all your napkins and postcards and Post-it notes in, like, go do that. And if you want a notebook or a sketchbook, like, go do that. It's not about the paper. It's about the process. I heard this story and it blew me away. It was I need to cite it, so forgive me, because I know everybody's fact checking on the internet, which is very good, and I encourage you to do it and help me out. But I heard this story about the music composer Beethoven. And basically, he's amazing, a prodigy, a genius, as it was. But basically, he would write music because he was composer. He would write the music on paper one time. He would put it in his desk drawer, shove it, and then he could just play it. He could play the music without reading the music again. And I was always blown away by that. And it just proves the point that to him, he wasn't like soul set on that piece of paper. He needed it as a means to his work. And it was a part of his process. And then once it served its purpose, then he could move on. And I really want to help you get going with your day. Do not waste time. Do not keep procrastinating or hesitating on what you're going to do or what you need to do first or how you're going to organize your time or, tasks versus projects. Like, don't overthink it. Just get some paper and begin to think through it. All right. Putting things out there really can help you see things differently. And that's when you're going to be making the valuable discoveries and decisions that you need. So just to recap, give yourself some room to create by doodling, expand your view of the situation with a mind map, visualize a timeline, to organize things and put it in order, make some honest reflections, with journaling, and just get going. You don't have to be a writer. You don't have to be an artist. You don't even have to consider yourself a planner to appreciate paper. You just need a tool to do great critical thinking and great creative work. For me, I never want to show up without some paper nearby, something to write on. My wife, Sarah Joy, gave me an amazing gift, Christmas or birthday or something, and it was called the Rocketbook Journal. And I don't get anything for saying this. I'm just saying find tools that fit you, that are fun to use, so you can make some consistency with it. And anyways, you can use pen on this specific kind of notebook. And then when you're done, you can wipe it off, or other versions, you could put it in the microwave and all of the stuff you wrote would just kind of get erased and you could start over. So just have fun with it. But you need to have a plan for every day. You do not get returns or rebates on your days. So you just got to make them count while you have them. Paper can help you stay present, and paper can help you get prepared. So if you enjoyed this and you found it valuable and you want to share it with other people, please get the link, get it to your friends. Thank you for liking, subscribing, hitting the notification bell. I have a goal, which I had put in this planner, and I want to get subscribers, and I want to help more friends and leaders work on their self-leadership, so that way they can show up ready when the future happens. I will be back tomorrow with another round of Prepare to Go There. We're going to be going into a note-taking app that I love, which is Evernote. And I've been a power user for a while. So if you're ready to get a system for the digital side of daily planning, this will work for any note-taking app you have. But I'll be doing a kind of a case study with Evernote. Remember, I'm convinced you're going places, and that's why I want to help you prepare to go there. Have an awesome Tuesday, and I'll see you tomorrow.